against Masons and Freemasons, right? So in order to be a Freemason, you have to be a traveling man. You have to be on the land, occupying very diverse places and maintaining your character the whole time. Which ties back to understanding what it means to be royalty. Royalty ain't just the blood alone. It's also the character development that makes you worthy to sit on the seat called the throne. You're not worthy if you don't go through the struggles of life to hone your character and your skill set so that you can be an asset to the collective instead of being a liability. Tyrants is liabilities. They only out for selfish gain and selfish agendas. So you don't want to put a tyrant on the throne. But you do want somebody that's strict. You do want somebody that stand on business. You do want somebody that won't back down in the face of a threat. Right? All of this is the development of the self in operation. So you become what they call an operant Mason. The speculative Masons are the ones who studying what you're doing and trying to figure it out. What is he doing? Why is he doing that? So they study human psychology, sociology, and then they try to use that information to control all of the people. But some of us is uncontrollable. They're incorrigible. You can't control me, only I can control me, and I'm only going to let you control me to the degree in which it benefits me. When the benefit is gone, your control is lost. So Crowley did exactly what he said. He didn't stay with Blavatsky long because she was putting the secrets out in the open. He didn't stay with his well-regarded long because he was putting the secrets out in the open. Right? He didn't even want to touch Rudolf Steiner because he wasn't scared of too many people, but Rudolf Steiner wasn't his cup of tea, nor was Franz Bardon. Right? But Crowley did exactly what he said he was going to do. Expose the church and expose the lodge. He put the lodge business out in the open. They put a hit on him. He just survived it.
And they ran him up out of, was that England? They ran him up out of somewhere where their main stronghold was. He got ran up out of there. And they moved him out the country. It was Switzerland or somewhere. He got ran up out of there.
Yeah, he ended up, I think he died on a little island outside of Italy.
Yeah, he was trying to do this 6-month spell, the longest spell they got in their spell book.
Well, if you don't do the maintenance on them, then they dissipate. It's energy.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's like driving a car. If you don't put no gas in it, it ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
The same engine that you burn gas in, with a few tweaks, you can burn water in it.
Yeah.
So the great deception come in and them telling you that the only way you can get this amount of power out of this engine is you got to use fossil fuel.
Yeah. 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 It's already somebody that they already converted it in the 1800s. Over here, we had cars running off of water. They come to find out that's what that dude was breaking down in that clip. I ain't played the whole clip, but he said that we were more advanced. Like Nikola Tesla was just a cover up. Like he saying that we already had lights and plumbings and like sewer systems and everything over here before Christopher Columbus came. Like sewer systems.
Yeah, we had all that.
And trains and stuff.
We wasn't no Stone Age spear chucking backwoods. We didn't need weapons.
Yeah.
We only needed weapons to hunt. We didn't need weapons to fight war. We didn't have them kind of wars.
Yeah.
If it got bad enough, my chief gonna fight your chief.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Or they gonna pick their champion.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I say if it was a war to be won with the fist, Big Tookie and Mike Tyson would have took it a long time ago. It wasn't about that. Those were what they call them. Those were bullet points on the essay. Somebody that can do it all. It wasn't about physics. Because it was about physics, Lord Quartermain would have took that. Because they couldn't create a atomic bomb out of Einstein's formula until they called in Lloyd Quartermain. It ain't about education, because Carter G or Amos Wilson, Hockey Model Booty, they all would have took that a long time ago. Right? Half of this stuff Elijah would have took. There's some boys in the nation got them hands.
Yep.
And, they just don't run around fronting that they got them hands, but don't pull up on one and try to find out.
Yeah, right.
Right? But, he was turning out champions of all caliber. He had Ali. Right? He had great authors that we look back now, we read these books. Some of them that wasn't formal members, like Dr. Clark, but he was feeding information to Elijah. And Malcolm. And Martin. Right? Dr. Ben was feeding them information to keep their education program ahead of the fallacy. Right? So you got people like Chancellor Williams, whose information was fed through the nation. Destruction of black civilization. Right? A lot of that information, if the nation wasn't showing us what to read, we wouldn't have knew what we needed to read versus what they told us to read. We wouldn't have knew that we needed our information to offset what they was telling us. Right? I was ordering college textbooks, but at the same time, I was in the Final Call bookstore, and I was in the Ansuala bookstore ordering books from us. Right? They had this. I had this one catalog called African World Books out of Philadelphia. I was ordering books out of. But then I was ordering books out of Edward R. Hamilton, and my brother and sister paid for all the knowledge. That's why I can give it away for free. It's been paid for already. It was paid. It was prepaid. Right? I paid attention, and they paid the bill. Right? So it's been double paid at that point, triple paid, because it was a brother, sister, myself, and then my attention. Right? So we was getting together, trying to formulate an understanding of what was taking place. I didn't know I was going to be the chief they was going to call for this. I was living my life. But then the codes start coming in, and you can't duck them because you get bombarded by them. They activate you. You can't help it. You got to move in a certain direction. People think you insane. So I had to go get a psyche valve to prove I wasn't insane. So I sat there and told the history of psychiatry and psychology to the psychiatrist, who was perplexed. Why are you even here? You know this better than me. You are definitely not insane. But you got to also remember, intelligent people, smart people, sound totally batshit crazy to dumb people.
Right. Yeah, bro. Okay, we're going to roll about 2 or 3 more, then we'll take some questions. I got another. I'm going to ask a question right there. Now, so based on what we getting is there any artifacts that could potentially awake them more, or wake it with people of this land? Okay, now that's what the question was. Now, he said that there was Phoenicians and Hebrew writing, right? We know that the Phoenicians were tall. Some of them could have been 7 foot tall, like Shaquille O'Neal height, because the Watusis are naturally tall. If you go look at the Watusi, they the tall tribe, and then we had, because they showed, based on the artifacts that we seen, the ones that we was able to some kind of way get pictures of, or what people told us, that they had 2 different type of phenotypes. The one was the Watusi looking. That's the Felicians. The ones they say the Felicians. They was about the Great Lakes. They populated the whole Mississippi, the old Mississippians. And then they had another shorter group that kind of resembled the Twa Man. And then they had another group, which they found these guys everywhere. They found one of these guys frozen in the ice in Antarctica. These are far people, right? They are far people. So they found them guys over here. So, man, what would that do? I mean, the truth is out now. But what does that gonna do for the whole paradigm? Their whole paradigm falls down. We got to start back from the beginning and start from scratch, all the way from the beginning, because the whole storyline don't start from Africa. It starts off from no other. It start here.
Right. Well, you gotta remember, they just started studying over here.
Yeah.
Because the goal was never to give us any information related to anything over here.
Right.
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 And so when they tell a narrative and they out of Africa theory, if you incorporate what was going on in the Americas during the whole out of Africa time frame, it spoils the narrative.
It hurt their feelings.
Right. So you see the artifacts that they collected tell the story.
Yeah.
This is why they have to always conceal them and destroy the bodies, conceal the bodies, take the skulls off the bodies, certain stuff that they was doing.
Blow the whole
body. All to design to control the narrative. Everything started in the Americas.
Right. It would be no other reason to cover it up. If it went to what the storyline they gave us, if the storyline they gave us was legit, it'd be no reason for the Smithsonian Institute. The Smithsonian, and then they said they had a fire where after they collected all those artifacts, and then 1885, right after the Civil War, they burned down. It was 65. They burned down. What it was 65 or 85. All of a sudden, the place burned down to the ground. Huh?
It was 65 because I noticed it was not too long after the Emancipation Proclamation.
Yeah.
But you gotta remember, it wasn't just the Smithsonian that burned during that time period. It was all of the records across the land. It was burning the churches that had the records in them, the libraries that had records, the city halls that had records. All of them was catching fire. That's why most of my mama history has been burned up in the fires, because they in Magnolia they burned down the library with all the records in it.
I heard my granddaddy say something like that they burned out. When they had no birth tickets, they burned it down.
Yeah. So we had land diagrams that we used to use to map out our plot of land. That's what they was mainly trying to destroy, so that we won't be able to say this was on my land.
Yeah.
They don't want us. This was before they came out with something called an alloidial title. That didn't have nothing to do with us. That was European record keeping.
Yeah.
Right? But once they gave us the records, we started asking questions, and the questions led to us seeking the answers where we couldn't get it from them.
Yeah.
Because we know that they have to put it in the public domain somewhere. We just have to locate it. We just didn't know that they would be telling it to us in news stories.
Yeah.
And using the big screen in political satire to control the narrative. But they've been doing it the whole time. And the same people was behind it. The unseen hand. The black hand.
Real slick, like though. They real smooth and crafty with it though. The South Bantu people, which was over here, they put this red dye in their head. The tribe. I know you probably seen that before, right? So that's when they saying red hair people. They talking about these Bantu peoples.
No, you talking about the ones that use the red clay.
Right. And this
we literally had red heads over here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, with our Nana, I know about with the red hair, green eyes, our Nana's daughters. But I'm talking about also that's what he talking about though. He talking about the redhead, the Bantu that they used to put, they put the red dye. He talking about that people. He ain't talking about the Aldebaran connection with our Nana. That's a whole nother connection. You know what I'm saying? With our green eye family. With our green eye.
He would have identified if it was clay. If it was red clay.
I'm telling it. He said it was a
look, we got a thing that you probably didn't notice. He used the word more than once, and the word was stasis.
Go ahead.
You ain't dead if you're in stasis.
Yeah, I know.
Let that sink in for a minute.
Yeah. Okay, so the goals, it's called, well, you call them Netat rules, Nathar rules. They had a device. Murdoch and them had a device that could put you into stasis, and it really was a sarcophagus. It really was the first prototype to the med beds before they got to making the med beds. Murdoch now, and so what they would do is they could lay in this thing, and it would just put them into like when they float out of space, it just put them into like a deep sleep where they age slower. Like a slower process of aging, right? Just kind of like what you said they did to Tookie and all that, kind of like the same thing, but it's more advanced where they don't gotta freeze you. It's like a type of machine where it's put you into this. You get into there and they put you into a certain type of.
You know, they use sarcophagi for that. They used to call them regeneration chambers.
Yeah.
And it was a sarcophagus that carried a certain frequency to regeneration your cells.
Yeah.
So it move all your biology to when you was in your best performance shape.
That's right.
Right? And they had the ones like these two, they called them giants. When they could put them in stasis in a sarcophagus, and then they could inhabit another human's body that's walking around.
Yeah.
You know, as a walk-in.
Yeah. That's happening. So what I'm thinking is, he's saying giant. He really talking about these 7 foot. Like I said, on Watusis, they get 7 foot, and then when the Watusis mix with the other groups, which like the Sandsman and Twa Man, they created other races like the Bantu. And like I said, I'm Bantu. They even show a picture of Satuk. Somebody painted a picture of Satuk. He even got the red hair, but the Mississippi, that red clay dirt is found up and down the Mississippi. That same red clay dirt that they was putting in their hair. I'm telling you, Rod. He don't know that's what he's saying. He ain't even saying it because they don't really want to tell us that why these Bantu people that's doing this red dye already over here in America 50,000 years, 40,000. Because Doc already said it though. Doc already told us in the in the Let's Set the Record Straight book that the people that they was over here. The Bantu people, they was already over here, the Almacs and all that. The Bantu people are the Almacs, right? So they was already over here, and they even show statues of these people with the. They even show Almac statues with the braid. How the Bantu people braid their hair. The Almacs got the same braids, and then, like I said, that red dye they put that in their hair. That's why they say these red hair. How he black with red hair? Come on, man. I'm talking about like dark black. These niggas jet black with red hair. That wasn't the bunch, the Inanna bunch. That's our other family members, which we got 3 different types. It was the red hair, green eyes with the freckles. That's one of Inanna's daughters. One of her other daughters had black hair with dark colored eyes, and the other one was a mix between the two, which gave her, when you mix the red with the black, it gave you a brown or brunette color. And if you ever see them women that's from them three different ones I just named, and they be thick and fine, because you can see them red, some gingers, they be thick and fine. That's Inanna's daughters, and that ain't the people he talking about though. Although they was over here too.
Let me tell you something from experience out of that. I went to Mississippi to visit back in '85. And I was out in that sun so much down there that I had patches on my hair that was the color of my skin, but my skin had got darker.
Yeah.
But my hair had these parts that had literally bleached in the sun.
Yeah.
You know, so there are dark people with red hair.
Yeah, I seen it.
It's just not as common as dark people with dark hair. It's like in the Melanesian people, you have some people their skin is so dark that it got a purple tint and then they got blonde hair.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the real
so
thing.
yeah, the sun also can bleach your hair. Fight you.
Yeah.
So it really just depends on, you know what I'm saying, what was going on with the people of the era. But I do know from experience that the sun will bleach your hair.
Yeah. Yeah, that's but like based on all what I'm collecting, like he's saying, oh, it's a pharaoh. Then the other dude said, oh, well, that's in Utah, right? Well, he's saying that they found this tall 7-foot pharaoh in Utah.
Man.
Yeah, and then in another spot in the same kind of area, another guy said, oh, these Phoenicians. They all go back to the Phoenicians because that's like a code name for them. Well, they can just.
Yeah, we said that it was Phoenician writing discovered in the Great Lakes region.
Yeah, but because it's not Hebrew, there's no such language really as Hebrew. That's what they're
Paleo Hebrew. What he said.
Yeah.
He said they had Paleo Hebrew and Phoenician, which is very similar.
Right. But the Hebrew is not the language because the Hebrew was an act that's what these other people called us when we went. You
gotta remember they renamed everything, so we just using the names they named it as. But even Arabs didn't call themselves Arabs. They still don't call themselves Arabs.
Right.
They call themselves either by their tribe or their country. They don't call themselves no damn Arab.
Right.
The only ones that still use an HMA to refer to themselves as the Chaldean.
Yep.
You know, and then they're the same people. One of them became Christian, the other one became Muslim.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a lot of interaction with people